Another straight, haven't they? Effectively, another straight. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a good race, street track. So Checo Perez will turn up.
I hope so.
About it, really. It'll be
I hope so.
Battle for third onwards, I think.
Yeah, it's always a good circuit. It always throws up a few surprises. Maybe last year obviously Sergio Perez did very well, took the win. Hopefully we get early season Perez coming to this year's one rather than mid-season Perez. They've got rid of the last couple of chicane or sort of right-left corners in the third sector, the bit that goes under the grandstand. They've got rid of that. I'm not sure if it's permanent or someone said it was to do with building works around the area. I'm not too sure. But another opportunity, the long straight. So because there's only really one or two passing opportunities in Singapore. So hopefully it will add in a bit more of an opportunity to overtake there and prevent Red Bull getting a million miles ahead as normal. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think this could. Anyone in particular you think could be strong here? I've got a few ideas in mind.
McLaren. It will suit their car.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes as well. Usual, really. I've got a feeling Aston Martin might turn up actually this weekend. Heard some good vibes out of them for some weird reason, considering they've had the summer off.
And it was, to be fair, the driver that stuck out in my mind, one who could be a bit of a good surprise, is Fernando Alonso. He's won here twice in the past, one under fairly
legally
and illegal circumstances, but we won't delve into that. But he's a race winner here in the past. I think he won there for Ferrari as well. So he's always good on that sort of circuit. He did very well in Monaco, of course, before Aston's questionable strategy call. He's got to get win 33 at some point. I'm not saying he's going to win here, but I think he could be quite strong.
Yeah, I think so. I think if anyone could do it out of the blue, it'll be him. I don't know what the weather's like. Maybe a little bit of weather might help us.
Rain forecast, apparently.
What, for the race?
Mm-hmm. So I've seen. Whether that materialises or not, I'm not too sure.
Well, we've had rain all season. It hasn't thrown up any different winners, but
true.
You never know, do you? You never know. But with it being with the Wolves as a straight circuit, but hopefully Fernando turns up, Aston Martin turn up, Lance Stroll might turn up at some point as well. I very much doubt it. But I think Ferrari might have a strong showing actually, because Ferrari historically do well at Singapore.
They do. I think Seb Vettel got one there back in 2019, I think. I think that was their last win to date there. But they've had some solid results here. On the opposite side to doing well, so anyone you think might turn up and struggle?
Alpine.
They're just Alpine, they just struggle anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they'll struggle. I don't think they'll don't know where the car's at, to be fair. A little bit of a no man's land. I'm reading Alpha Tauri of going down the Red Bull route. Well, there's going to be a B-spec Red Bull next year anyway, so there'll be P3 and 4 next year.
Oh, of course.
So
going down a Red Bull route.
Join them.
Yeah, Haas are doing the same apparently. Metal Jace, good evening. Welcome in, my friend. Hope you're doing well. What do you guys think of McLaren's new stealth mode livery? I love it. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely.
It's nice. It's a good way to get weight off the car because they've literally stripped the whole thing off.
Oh yeah, no more chrome, just black.
Just black everywhere. Just little bits of oranges here and there. What Williams did to save weight.
Yeah, it reminds me.
It looks decent. No, it looks nice. Black and orange is always a decent colour.
Oh, for sure. It reminds me of an early noughties Arrows, and you know how I feel about the orange Arrows cars.
The only good thing the Arrows had going for them really was this livery.
Yeah, but so you know how much I love the Arrows cars or the Arrows liveries. It looks absolutely brilliant. I mean, the chrome one they did look very, very nice, but this is something else. This is very, very pretty.
Yeah, look, it'll look good under the lights. I think it's for Japan as well. So I'm not sure how it'll look in the day.
And
it'll look decent.
Under the lights, it will look gorgeous. There is, of course, another team running a special livery this weekend as well. And it's a team which, unfortunately, I think might struggle a little bit this weekend, but it's Williams. They've got the new Bolder Than Bold Gulf livery, which is on for the next 2 races, I think.
Yeah.
Which, again, is absolutely stunning. It's Gulf racing colours. What more needs to be said?
You can't go wrong with a Gulf livery, can you really?
No, not at all. McLaren did it so well in 2021 or 22?
21.
21?
Monaco, wasn't it?
Yes, that's it. And the Gulf racing cars always look gorgeous. The Williams is no exception. They might struggle a little bit. I think Alex Albon has been saying, he doesn't expect the same level of performance they got in Monza and Zandvoort. But I don't know. That Williams has been going very well at circuits you didn't think it would, really, like Zandvoort.
I think it's just more the sort of slow speed corners that might do them, I think.
But
which you don't have as much at Zandvoort, certainly not Monza.
No, but there's going to be 4 cars running different liveries, and they both look absolutely beautiful. So I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on those. Nothing Williams can do can ever be ugly, to be honest. Everyone hated that walrus nose thing from 2004, but I still love it. But there we go. There's a bit of contract news as well, which came out yesterday. I can't quite remember. I think it might have been today. It's a dog.
Someone's at the door.
Is he not a fan of this driver? It's very, 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 very bad. I feel quite sorry for him now because Guan Yu Zhou has announced a contract extension with Alfa Romeo, so he is staying there.
Surprising to me, actually, because from what I've read, heard, and sort of got the gist of, I would probably put him as a favourite to lose his seat.
Same. Yeah, it was a surprise.
So then, because obviously Théo Pourchaire is leading the F2, who is obviously a Alfa Romeo Academy driver, and has about a bit of backing behind him. So I'm a bit surprised that they've gone, that he's still got a seat. Because as we've said previously, that he hasn't pulled up trees, has he? He's solid, but he's not like sort of any results. The only time was the qualifying result he had at was it in the sprint for Spa?
Hungary, he was up
Hungary,
in 6th, 7th.
yeah. But he went backwards. He virtually stalled it on the grid and went backwards quicker than he went forward. So
yeah, it is a surprise. It's a big surprise in my eyes. He's not a million miles off Bottas, but he's not done anything, like you say, he's not pulled up trees. He's not done anything where you think, yeah, that was amazing, apart from that one-off quali. And from what I was reading, they were keen on getting Théo Pourchaire in that car. So it's a shame for Pourchaire. He's a very talented young driver.
Can't see Pourchaire in a car next year now, because obviously Haas confirmed theirs, and Alfa was the only place I could think he could go. So
they're running out of options. Because you've now got there's a vacancy at AlphaTauri, but it's likely that's going to be Tsunoda in one seat and still probably Ricciardo in the other.
Well, I was reading actually that Tsunoda might end up doing Red Bull's sim job next year, and they're going
instead of the racing.
Then they'll go Lawson and Ricciardo, and then Tsunoda will spend a year like Albon did.
Yeah,
I can't see how that would work out for Tsunoda at all.
No, that's a tricky one. It's intriguing. AlphaTauri, they get the benefit of having a young, exciting prospect in Liam Lawson, who's done very well so far, from what we've seen of him, and an experienced head in Daniel Ricciardo. May he be back very soon.
Here's a question for you. If Lawson because Lawson's been solid for 2 Grand Prix, he's been solid. Considering he's never driven the car before, he's been solid. Would you bring back Danny Rick at all?
I still would.
Liam Lawson is very good at, because he's been racing in the Japanese series. So I don't know. Would you bring Ricciardo back? I don't know.
I still would, to be honest, because I think you're still a little bit limited as to how you can set the car up with Lawson and Tsunoda. Tsunoda is quite inconsistent. He's now in his 3rd season of Formula One. Still some inconsistencies there. Lawson is still relatively an unproven talent, really. I would still go with Ricciardo, Tsunoda at the end of the season, but then next year I think I would go Ricciardo and Lawson, because I think Lawson can have a brighter future ahead of him than Tsunoda. I know there's obviously links with Tsunoda going to Aston in 2026 when they take on Honda Power, being obviously a bit of a Honda protege. So it'll be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think the Tsunoda is if you break it down as the simple question is, can he be a world champion? And the answer to me is no.
Yeah, for the same.
So if you don't think he can win a world championship, then he'll never lead the Red Bull, which is ultimately why he's there. He's there to the next step up is going to the Red Bull and challenge Max. But if you don't think he's good enough to do that, then why would you keep him, really?
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it, with Gasly and Albon we've seen in the past. Neither of them really tested Max or could hold much to him.
Yeah, I think
Albon is obviously doing very well for himself.
They had the problem they had is the points that they weren't scoring was so important to Red Bull at the time because it was the close battle between him and Ferrari for second and third. Whereas now, obviously, Max has got more points than the whole field on his own. So it's like Checo's kind of his points are irrelevant, but obviously they'd like him to score as many points as possible all the time. But whereas Albon and Gasly were so scrutinised because they weren't so close to Max, and it was costing Red Bull potentially millions and millions. Yeah, that they couldn't hang around effectively.
No, I think they've both rebuilt their credibility somewhat. Gasly had a couple of very solid seasons back at AlphaTauri. Toro Rosso, became a race winner and has been solid for Alpine so far in a pretty hit and miss car that's just Alpine. And Albon is doing wonders in a car which no one really expected much of him. He was good last year in what was, I think most would agree, the worst car on the grid. This year, he has been fantastic. It's the first time they've scored back-to-back points this season in Zandvoort and Monza. And I think him and Gasly, have certainly rebuilt some of that credibility and that reputation. So then other teams could look and think, oh yeah, you know what, they could be worth a punt if a big driver becomes available. Yeah. It could be the same with Tsunoda. But I know the AlphaTauri hasn't been great either. But he needs to be more consistent, and he needs to show that he can do it, and he can get that Red Bull seat. And I just don't see that. I don't see that quality. It still doesn't seem like the finished article.
No, I think I remember from when Max was in the Toro Rosso, was he made some stupid mistake, like stupid lunges, but he was quick.
Yeah,
he was still quick in that car. Whereas Tsunoda makes some stupid mistakes, and he's not that quick. Like sometimes you can forgive him if he's showing some real pace, and then he bins it by doing something silly, and you can kind of forgive it a little bit. But he's not really trees, as you say. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go with what I read today. I would. They go with Lawson and Ricciardo. I think probably that's the best option because.
Well, yeah, Metal Jace, I agree regarding the AlphaTauri drivers. I think it's a solid option because there's a lot of interest in the second Williams seats as well. Because obviously Albon is there for the foreseeable, but Sargent is by no means safe. Even James Vowles has said that it's not guaranteed, and Sargent has been off the pace all season, and there's only so much of he's just a rookie that you can give him. That car is now it's seventh best, points would say, but it's very, very touch and go because yes, they're seventh, but they're way off the sixth place team, which I think is Alpine, and they're only just ahead of the team behind them. And it's, Alfa Romeo are bringing upgrades. Williams are now not bringing upgrades. They're focusing on 2024. So they're putting a lot of faith in Albon to get as many points as he can to stay ahead. And Bottas and Zhou, I would feel more confident about both of them scoring points than both Albon and Sargent. Sargent did very well in Zandvoort, made it into the top 10, but then crashed in quali. went backwards in the race and then crashed or retired. I think he had a mechanical failure apparently. But he just doesn't seem to have closed that gap. Albon's been in Q3 plenty of times. Sargent has made it once. So if AlphaTauri went for Lawson and Ricciardo for next year, Albon and Tsunoda would be a good pairing, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say Albon and Pourchaire, but obviously he's an Alfa Romeo driver or academy driver. But that's, again, you're going down the same route of, all right, is another rookie. Is he going to be an upgrade on our last rookie?
Yeah. At least with Tsunoda, you've got a few years' experience. He's not, you could probably rely on him.
Well,
yeah.
Out of the two of them,
it'll be decent as well, Looking at commercially, it'll be decent as well. Two Asian drivers.
Yeah.
For you, and Honda coming back into the fold in 26.
Well,
which Williams will need an engine for, maybe.
Williams Honda, that's an iconic, not as iconic as the Williams Renault, but Williams Honda was a successful partnership back in the day. I say about the Albon Pourchaire thing being the same as Albon Sargent. I would still rather Albon Pourchaire, because if you look at their paper, the results on paper, Pourchaire is a better driver than Sargent. History suggests and previous form suggests that he'd be the better option.
Sargent didn't really achieve much in F2, really. So
no, he got a couple of wins.
Like Felipe Jokovic. Everybody's forgotten about Felipe Jokovic, who's reserve driver for Aston Martin.
Yeah, he's still got potential.
He won countless races.
He was champion in 2022 or 2021. Recently.
I think it was last year's champion. But
Yeah.
obviously, the problem is when they win it, they then don't do the second season because
No.
it actually harms them more. But yeah, you forget about him knocking around as well. He's not getting anywhere near a drive, is he really? Unless kicks the bucket. But
well, Lance Stroll. Did you hear? I was watching when I got in earlier. I was watching about just the drivers' interviews before the race weekend. And Lance Stroll just started. You sound like he was on holiday. He's like, "Yeah, it's a night race, so I can sleep in a bit later, and yeah, it's a good track." And I was falling asleep listening to him just finish and give the seat to someone better who deserves it, like Drugovich. Get Drugovich in the Williams. I'll take that because at least he's got Formula One experience now. He's got setup experience.
yeah,
But Tsunoda would be a good shout, I think, alongside Albon. Might help it. It's a little, Williams is a team that seems to fly under the radar a little bit more. We'll certainly see. Good comment there from Metal Jays. It seems like Vettel would like to return to F1. Would you like him to? I bet he was kicking himself when he saw the big improvement.
I saw his little interview actually.
Yeah,
Never
it was
say
intriguing.
never. What he said.
He was mentioning about people like Lauda and Schumacher and Prost.
I think he'll be looking at 2026 because obviously he's very at the forefront for becoming sustainable and eco, etc. And that's when F1 are going to start going down that route. So, but I can't see an angle in really unless he comes back with Audi.
That's the only route I can think is Audi, unless he puts in a good word with Lawrence Stroll. If Lance does decide to go, or if Lawrence just thinks, you know what, you're costing us championship points and millions of dollars, which you can afford anyway, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Imagine Vettel and Alonso alongside each other in a Aston Martin would be a dream. That would be an amazing lineup, and I would have to rethink about my strongest lineup on the grid, because Stroll is the only thing holding that team back right now.
Well,
but Audi would be the most likely.
They could take the Merc way. When Merc came back, they brought Schumacher back.
Yeah.
And then Audi come by and bring Vettel, and then one other who is probably going to be.
Well, it's hard to imagine either Alpha drivers.
Audi are trying to tap up. Carlos Sainz is the one that Audi have been tapping up apparently. So. Vettel and Sainz isn't a terrible duo.
That'd be decent. Or Lando, but I don't know how long his contract is at McLaren. But
I generally think that either Ferrari or Red Bull are Lando's next destination. I really do.
But can you imagine? Yeah, if you're Audi, you're coming to the sport 2026. You get Vettel back into the sport. You're then bringing one of the most successful German drivers, one of the most popular drivers, back with a big manufacturer and a big project. It could be like the Schumacher Mercedes, but hopefully more successful. Obviously, that didn't go down very well for Schumacher for those few years. Excuse me. But Vettel and Sainz alongside each other at Audi. I would, I'd chuck my hat in that ring. That sounds good.
Yeah, that's the only way I can see that Vettel's come back in the sport. Well, to be fair, because they're taking over Alfa Romeo, aren't they? So maybe shoehorn him in 2025 to get a season under his belt, but to get back into the swing of things. But I don't think he'll need it. Because
they're going to be Sauber, aren't they, for the next 2 years? I would assume they're going back to Sauber because the Alfa name is dropping off. Get a year under his belt, and then bang, Audi, Vettel, world champion driver. Here we go. Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Unless Haskell out the hat middle of next season because K-Mag or Hulkenberg aren't doing the job.
Yeah, that was a surprise that they've both been retained for next year, especially Magnussen.
Yeah, not sure about that, really. I'm not sure about either of them, to be fair, I think.
Sorry, excuse me. Give yourself there.
Maybe Djokovic would have been decent there, maybe for a season.
But yeah, I'd keep Hulkenberg and put Djokovic alongside him.
I think Haas is just trying to get through a season without too much damage. I think because they spent so much money on Mazepin and Schumacher repairing the cars that they just actually wouldn't mind a season where they concentrate on using their budget for what it's there for, rather than making front wings, rear wings, gearboxes, houses and things like that.
Yeah, all right. So, we finished 17th, but look at all this spare money. They can use it for next year.
2 million quid that Schumacher cost him last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it seems like Haas can't afford that.
For someone who can't even hit the budget cap is a massive amount of money.
And talking about money and next year and budgets and whatnot, you had a good point the other day looking at prices for Silverstone in 2024.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If anyone watching has seen the ticket prices, you'll know. If you haven't, then go and check them out because they are ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. How much was your one you were looking at? General admission, wasn't it?
Yeah, normal is. Well, I don't know if they're bringing back the price rise thing that every 10 seconds they refresh the price depending on how many people are logged in, which I thought was balmy anyway. But general admission plus was about £349 for the weekend.
It's ridiculous.
General admission normal, which I don't quite know what the difference is, but is 270, I think, something like that. But
wow,
it's just a general admission at Silverstone. General admission can be like you've got to be in there at like 5 o'clock in the morning queuing up to get a good seat on the Sunday, because otherwise there's not that many, I think, great vantage points for general admission. And then
this is the cheaper point.
Grandstand wise, you're looking 500-600 quid.
It is
for a weekend. Just it's not. This is before you've got your camping if you camp, car park, your money while you're spent there.
I was going to say there's simple little things, isn't there? Getting a drink, getting some food while you're there. That's extortionate. If you want to buy a bit of merch as well.
Camping's £129, I think I read.
It's crazy. It is ridiculous. And then I was looking the other day with a colleague. We can fly to Amsterdam and then go to Zandvoort with tickets, general admission, cheaper than what we can for 3 days in Silverstone, which is just up the road. Not really just up the road, but a drive away, a few hours drive away. We can actually go to another Grand Prix in a different country.
Actually, you can fly to Singapore because Singapore are one of the lowest ticket prices. If you get your flights right, you can fly to Singapore and back and go to the race for the same price.
It's unbelievable. I would love to go to a Grand Prix in a different country. It's something I've never done, but it's on my bucket list. Ideally, Spa. Exactly. Spa for me, or Monza.
Yeah, it's about £400 all in with camping and general admission, ferry, fuel.
That's unbelievable. And then you think how much it is. Did you drive all the way to there?
Yeah, we drive. It's what from where I am in Suffolk. It's 2.5 hours down to Dover, and then it's 3 hours, three and a half hours the other side.
Yeah,
it's literally about 2 roads the other side. You don't come off the road pretty much, and easy to get to. Simple. Very rubbish because Dover Calais is absolutely rubbish. But yeah, £400 each it was pretty much for the weekend. Whereas £400 won't even get your bum on seat at Silverstone.
It's crazy, and how it sells out year on year is beyond me because ticket prices are going up and up, and it's an amazing atmosphere. It's an amazing event. Like I said, I went there back in 2021, and it was one of the best weekends of my life. But I was quite fortunate; it wasn't me paying for it. But it was just looking at the prices now. I thought they were a joke. I see people talking about it on social media, and then you send the message, and I mean, come on, it's one of the best venues and the best Grand Prix.
That's the base rate. If they do what they did last year, that could go up to like £400 for a GA Plus.
Yeah.
And general mission is supposed to be, you've got to fight hard. When you general mission like for Spa, 189 euros, so whatever that is, 160 quid, 150 quid. And you expect you've got to get in there early to get your position on the Sunday. But if you're paying nearly £400 for it, you shouldn't be expected to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, queue up until the gates open, and then run to your location you want to sit at, and then sit there all day.
Yeah, you can't move because that spot will be gone. Yeah. It's crazy. Metal Jet, it's chance of rain for all 3 days of the Singapore Grand Prix.
I'm not watching qualifying, so I'm going to have to. No, I'm going to watch my basket case of the football team lose to Ipswich.
Oh, yeah, that's this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go and suffer that rubbish. But
enjoy.
Talking ticket prices, Jesus Christ, you want to be a Sheffield Wednesday fan?
Oh, yeah. All to watch a team who currently sit bottom?
Yeah, £46 for privilege to watch us lose.
Bloody hell, you can get cheaper to go to Silverstone. We've got a couple of minutes left. So obviously, like we said, we've got Singapore coming up this weekend. I will ask you, if you predict your top 3 going from 3rd to 1st in the Grand Prix, who would you go for?
I think every week I've gone for Max not winning, so I might go carry on that one. Just the hope that he finds a little bit of trouble. 3rd place, I'm going to go for Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
2nd place, I'm going to go for Max.
Okay.
And then Lando.
Ooh, Lando.
I'm going to bounce in the rain. I'm going to bounce in the rain that Lando gets a bit of the rain dance out and nicks it.
Well, I was thinking about a bit of a rain dance as well. 3rd place, I was going to go for Charles Leclerc because there seems to be some improvement in that Ferrari now. 2nd place, I was going to go for Perez because good on a street circuit. And 1st, I'm going to go for win number 33. Fernando is going to get it.
Well,
and I'm going to say that Red Bull are going to have a mechanical issue on Verstappen's car in the race. So there will be a problem. That car can't be bulletproof, surely.
And on heart, they're going to win. Max and Checo 1-2 because Checo turns up the street circuits outside Europe, doesn't he? So
yeah, this is 100% my heart picking this top 3, but my head is going, no, you moron. It's going to be Verstappen, and you're going to hear the Dutch anthem again.
Yeah.
But my heart's going to go, no, it's going to be Fernando, and it's going to be the Spanish anthem, and he's going to be smiling, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to be in tears.
I know the Dutch national anthem like I know the German national anthem. That's only because of the prolonged success that those countries have had in the Formula One world.
We've had those, there's a few anthems which now work really well. You get used to hearing one after the other. So in the old days, it was Germany with the Italian anthem after it, Schumacher and Ferrari. And then it was Britain followed by Germany, Hamilton. And now it's the Dutch followed by the Austrian, isn't it? Because it's just always Verstappen and Red Bull.
Yeah.
With a bit of German followed by Austrian in there as well for the Vettel years. But
yeah.
Every time I hear it now, it's just, there's the Dutch anthem. Yeah, all right. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. So, but no, it's going to be the Spanish anthem this weekend. But I really want to hear Charles Leclerc win again because you get the Monegasque anthem followed by the Italian. Now, they are two of the happiest anthems I think I've ever heard. They're amazing.
I love the Italian national anthem. It's good.
The Italian anthem is iconic. Remember when Barrichello and Massa used to win in Ferrari as well? Because the Brazilian anthem was awesome as well. So those two work so well together, same as Monaco. But it's going to be the Dutch anthem, which is nowhere near as happy. But there we go. Still a solid anthem. But that brings us to the end of our little F1 pit stop this week. So we're a few days later, obviously, this week, but we'll be back on Monday after the Singapore Grand Prix, hopefully reviewing win number 33 for Fernando. Metal Jace, maybe we'll have a chaos start at the first corner in 2017. You never know.
It's a good corner to start because it's like Saudi Arabia sort of thing, quick left, right.
Yeah.
And sort of bottlenecks and it only takes one more on and a bit of action happens. 2017,
Max is in the middle and he gets pinched by Perez and Sainz and Alonso goes through. Whee! There we go.
Or you get, was it Vettel and Raikkonen took each other out on that turn one as well?
It did, yeah. Verstappen was in the middle and there was the two Ferraris, wasn't it? And then unfortunately Alonso got caught up in that as well, in that tractor of a McLaren.
Hopefully something like that.
Well, if it's going to be wet, then I'm excited. I love Singapore. And it's one of the few races left now where the drivers come out visually exhausted and sweating because of the humidity and the physical work. But there we go. That is the end of this for another week. So we'll see you on Monday. Thank you so much for watching again. Appreciate you getting involved and commenting. I'd say have a great week, but have a good few days because we'll see you in a few. So enjoy the race. And we're back live 7:15 on Monday. Maybe with Neil. Who knows? What's going to happen for...